Hello, Matt Cobb here with LB Plastics. I want to talk to you today briefly about our railing systems and how you might be seeing some lower cost competitors out in the marketplace, or competitors that have higher perceived value because they have aluminum in the top rail and the bottom rail. I'll show you quickly in this video how we add a lot of value for a little bit of cost, which is why we say we don't cut corners. Okay, to start, looks like a standard T-rail, and you won't necessarily see these issues on the tabletop display. But first, you can see how this is the national competitor, how they don't have much attention to detail on the squareness of the product. But more importantly, and the homeowner will see this once it's installed, is if you put pressure on it, you get a significant amount of give that you can feel. I'm not putting a lot of pressure there. That's pressure even with the H aluminum in it. Compared to our version, you can see the attentional detail with the squareness. We actually use a 3D scanner to make sure that we keep all 20 specs in spec, including dimensions and line thickness. But even without the H support, we don't give because we put these two vertical supports in. A lot of people believe that all PVC is created equally, but in fact it's not. Impact testing really separates good systems from bad systems, and you can't see that in a tabletop display, but you can see that in a drop test. At LB, we comply with the window drop testing as specified in the industry by AMA and the FGIA, which states for a certain thickness, you have to take the drop test to a certain height. So in this case, we've got to take this one to about 200, and you raise the weight to 200 and drop it. And what you're looking for on a successful drop test is no cracking or splinting and a nice even puncture all the way through. Now this has a massive impact on the cost of the product. And when we take our competitor, especially the national competitor that we're comparing against, you'll see that it cracks and chips. See, there's no penetration all the way through like there is on our sample. And again, there's a lot of cost difference between PVC that passes impact at window standards and doesn't. Think about it as more rocks and less glue. Now, technically, there is no spec when you're testing railing for impact, just as long as it passes code on the pull testing. But, you know, windows take a lot less abuse than railing systems do. So you think if it's good enough for windows, it should be good enough for railing. The last thing I want to talk about today is aluminum reinforcements as it relates to pull testing. So we have our own pull testing system here at LB so we can mock up IRC standards. And what we found with the national competitor is that clearly for every length, 4, 6, 8, 10, they pass code. But what we see is they change out the aluminum reinforcement in each of those lengths as you go up from a lowercase h to a capital H to a reinforced H. And again, they pass code. But what it seems like they're doing is just taking out a little bit of aluminum to make sure they pass code. But it also helps decrease your price point because there's a little bit less aluminum as you go up for each length, whereas we keep the same P channel in all our lengths until we need to trade up, which gives you some added protection on the shorter lengths like the 4 and the 6 foot. They also include a aluminum reinforcement in their bottom rail, and we pass all of our testing without aluminum reinforcement in the bottom rail. And so, you know, if you're looking, so unless it's specified, and trying to think about why they would include aluminum reinforcement in the bottom rail when we pass without one. If you look at a competitor who has taken some liberties on the design that doesn't give it so much strength and has deflection, the impact code doesn't test nearly as high as we do. Again, we're 80% higher on the impact testing, and they're trading out the aluminum reinforcement as they increase in length. We're thinking it maybe has to do with sag over time, or maybe because of the impact that in order to pass that vertical load test where you're pushing down on it, the kicker picket is coming through. That wraps everything up here. Thanks for your time today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us. We also love plant tours, so come see us.